You live. You live. Okay, come on. There it goes. And let's see if this works. Nope. Try that again. That is fucked up. That worked a second ago, man. I'm not fucking around with this right now. Fuck that shit. Alright, apparently Iran just launched a dozen missiles at a US military base. So forget the dish soap thing. We'll bitch about that tomorrow. Nicotine, ganja. Oh, get the soundtrack on.
Brought to you by 407 ETR. It's still a closure on the eastbound 403 in Mississauga. The entire highway is closed eastbound from Erin Mills Parkway to Huron, Ontario. It's for a collision investigation, and it's a decent stretch here. Erin Mills all the way to Huron, Ontario. So if you're traveling towards this area, you're going to be forced off the highway at Erin Mills Parkway. Of course, the ramps from Erin Mills and from Mavis to the east 403 also closed. You can use surface streets to get around this. If you're exiting here, it's probably best to get off at Winston Churchill. That way you don't have to sit in a long lineup on the Erin Mills ramp where everybody's forced off. So use Winston Churchill, then either travel south down to Burnhamthorpe or Dundas, or north up to Eglinton or Britannia or any route in between, and you can use those to get around this closure via surface streets. You can also, of course, use highways if you want to use the eastbound 407, 401, or QEW in Mississauga. All three are wide open.
I gotta move the
and probably free at the
food that
moment.
is sitting where I want to sit.
Traveling the remainder of our highways, it's just a bit of overnight construction. No lane restrictions.
63 cents. You can't
We have
really
ramp
beat
closures
that.
you'll want to be aware of. The
No.
east and westbound
Even if that's
407
American
ramps to the
63 cents,
southbound
it's
400
still
are closed. And also on the 427, we have the Brownsville
Put it
and Evans Avenue
here.
ramps to the northbound 427 closed for construction. 407 ETR saves drivers 30 million hours of time each year, giving you more time for the things that
I
matter
meant to
most
do
to
this
you.
beforehand.
Visit 407etr.com. Your next report at 9:31, and with the extended forecast, here's Natasha Ramzai.
A little bit of wet snow passing through this evening. That tapers off overnight tonight down to a low -3. Now a cold front comes through, so that -3 in the morning will continue to fall to -7, wind chill -15 by the afternoon. So please dress for that colder late day temperature. And watch for lake effect snow with reduced visibility at times through tomorrow morning. Gusty northwest winds up to 60 kilometers per hour. We'll see a bit of sun in there as well. Thursday is dry, partly cloudy and -3. Friday, light rain and 8 degrees, but we're keeping a close eye on Saturday and Sunday as rain could start switching over to snow and freezing rain by Saturday night. Special weather statement is in effect for this potentially high impact winter storm for the weekend. Tonight we are down to a low -3 degrees. Right now in downtown Toronto, it's +3, feeling like -2 and partly cloudy.
+3?
It's
What the
+1
fuck? What is
at
going on with
Pearson.
the fucking temperatures out here, man?
Don Valley North Lexus wants your Lexus to get the attention it deserves. Every service includes a thorough inspection by their factory-trained technicians, plus a complimentary car wash and vacuum. And right now, save $50 off select maintenance services. And if you're a Wayne's Rewards member, you'll get 10% of every service invoice towards the purchase of your next Lexus. Offer ends soon. Schedule your appointment today. See DonValleyNorthLexus.com for details.
We continue to follow breaking news from the Middle East, where Iran has fired more than a dozen ballistic missiles at a pair of military bases in Iraq that house U.S. forces. Coming up at 9:30, our Phil Martino will have the latest on the escalating tensions, and we are following breaking news from Mississauga, where a police-involved shooting has left a man in critical condition.
680 News Time, 9:24. Hey, smart speaker, play what I need to know. Did you mean 680 News?
This holiday season, 680 News wants to help pay off those holiday bills with the 680 News
Streaming secret.
Stream 680 News daily on your smart speaker or any streaming device for the secret code word of the week.
When you hear it, enter the weekly code for your chance to win $2,500 cash.
For more money, the 680 News Streaming Secret.
Exclusively on your smart speaker and streaming devices. For details, visit 680news.com/secret.
Breaking news from Iraq, where we're still waiting for any official word on casualties after Iranian missiles struck 2 bases containing U.S. personnel. Michael Chertoff is the former Homeland Security Secretary under President George W. Bush.
I do think what's significant is that they chose not to hide behind proxies which is typically what they do in many cases, but to actually come out front and basically say it's us. We're using ballistic missiles, which are relatively sophisticated, and we're launching from our territory. That, to me, is a symbolic issue, frankly, part of which I think is directed at the internal population.
The attack happened a mere few hours after crowds in Iran mourned the death of Qasem Soleimani at his
What I
funeral.
fucking tell you yesterday? You pissed off millions of people, you dumb fuck.
These are the 3 Marines you killed last night. As of today, you belong to me. Am I being arrested? Depends on what? On me. A soldier makes a deadly mistake, and his only hope for freedom is to become a spy. We want the good people of Canada to be afraid of activists and draft dodgers. Earn their trust. When this is over, we're done with you. Yeah, but will I be done with you? Fortunate Son. New series. Tomorrow at 9.
Yeah, Canada's full of draft dodgers. I know some of them.
The holidays are over.
You think you're hardcore. You never mess with a fucking, American soldier who's already done so much dirt. He's running from the fucking, you don't know.
Car and homeowners, remember,
Just one click. BorrowWithYourCar.com.
you get great rates on a loan that actually works towards improving your credit score. Remember Prudent Financial, your trusted equity lender since 1984.
BorrowWithYourCar.com. 680 news time, 926.
Time for the business report. Here's Richard Southern. Good evening. Investors looking for a safe place to hide amid this
China.
Iranian attack on U.S. installations in Iraq.
Oh, it's
We've seen
stuck.
a major flight
Stuck
to
in the
safety
back,
here this evening. First off, in gold, the yellow metal trading now above $1,600 per ounce
No
for the first time in
shit.
7 years. Big rally, continued rally for that precious metal. We've also seen traders look to Bitcoin. It's jumped more than
bullshit.
$300, above $8,300 the coin. We've also seen, not surprisingly, the price of oil take off more than 4%, about $65 for that commodity.
Bitcoin's the only thing I don't accept as payment.
Of oil supplies from the Mideast region.
Listen to anything except Bitcoin's virtual cryptocurrencies. What the fuck am I gonna do with that, bro?
After Wall Street at the open, it's still early
You
days,
sell
but we
it,
have
and
seen
then
the
give
Dow
me the
futures index
currency.
down
It would
as
be
much
much simpler.
as 400 points, and the
All right, we got
returns
it.
on the Asia Pacific markets have been negative, but nothing too dramatic. Tokyo Nikkei has been down more
Look at the
than
little drumstick, eh?
2%. So we're going to continue to watch this story certainly right into the morning.
I think my homeboy's scales are fucked.
You check your Lotto Max ticket to talk about something a little bit more lighthearted.
I'm not going to tell him because sometimes they're up and sometimes they're down, so I'm not going to tell him.
Would you believe 1/3 of lottery winners eventually declare bankruptcy? Why is that? Experts say a big reason is a psychological behavior called mental accounting, whereby winners treat the money they've won differently from the money they've earned.
Mental accounting, eh?
And before you know it, poof, it's gone. And the odds of winning the big jackpot tonight, won at 33.2 million.
Such a perfectionist, obsessive compulsive, all that shit, eh?
TSX in the
There we
Tuesday trade was up 62 points, 17,168. The Dow fell 119 to 28,583. S&P down 9, NASDAQ down 2 points, and the Canadian dollar's at 76.93 cents US. This is 680 News.
Hi, it's
76.93.
Ivanka Osmak. Normally, I'm a sports anchor for Sportsnet, but today I'm spreading the
So
news.
mentally,
about
it's a
sleep
lot
countries
easier to
and
round it to
Aquagel
the nearest
pillow.
nickel,
To be
just like we
honest,
do with
I'd
pennies
never
up there.
even heard of
That's
a gel
75
pillow
cents
before their
still.
sleep expert suggested I try it out. And
So
I'm
until it hits
glad they did.
77.50,
The pillow
that'll
is
be
so
80, right?
comfortable. It's made with a water-based gel, so it's a super breathable alternative to memory foam that cradles your neck and keeps you cool. I've always been a little picky about my pillow, but that was totally embraced when I went to sleep.
I like this one because it's got a 69 on it right there. 69.
It was amazing to see all the options they could recommend based on just a few things I told them about
Poor
my
bastard.
sleeping habits. So really, no matter how you sleep, I'm
I gave him
sure
10
they'll be
cigarettes
able
for
to
that.
recommend a great pillow to you. Plus, right now, when you buy one Aquagel pillow, you get a second Aquagel pillow free. Get matched to your perfect pillow at Sleep Country.
He's a dual citizen, but he ain't got none of his paperwork.
Today.
That's not good up here. Yeah, everything's free up here, sort of, if you have a registration number. You can't just walk in and get free shit up here without a number, bro.
Forecast brought to you by Walmart.
Now at Walmart, save
Oh,
$2
fuck
on
is it?
375 grams of Deli Express bacon. Now only $2.97. That's why grocery
Deli
bills
bacon
are
comes from
lower at
delis?
Walmart. Period.
In Washington, it's clear and 0. Boston, clear and 0. Chicago, partly cloudy and -4. Right now in downtown Toronto, a partly cloudy sky and 3 degrees. It's 9:30.
Tell us about Iran,
In
motherfucker.
Toronto, this is 680 News.
Here are Asher Ross and Caitlin Lee.
Good evening. It's Tuesday, January 7th.
Here's what's making news right now.
2 air bases that host U.S. forces in Iraq have been attacked. This just hours after the U.S. Minister of Defense said he was expecting Iran to retaliate following the killing of its top general.
You knew that when you did what you did, bro.
After a police-involved shooting.
Ain't no different than neighborhoods, Bloods and Crips and all that shit. It ain't no different. You knew what the fuck was gonna happen when you did that.
While walking on the 403 near Huron, Ontario, all eastbound lanes in the area are blocked. A full traffic report just seconds away.
That is the third fucking person in about a month walking on the goddamn highways, yeah?
Special weather statements blanket southern Ontario.
So there's actually a law against that here, and there's a reason for it.
Investors
You're
looking
gonna
for
get fucking hit by a
safety
car,
in the
right?
Iranian missile attacks. Bitcoin and gold surge. Oil jump. Stock futures are down. Business at 56. 680 News Time, 9:31.
Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's kind of looking.
Tin fire
This
here.
brought to you by Sportsnet. If you're traveling the highways in Mississauga, eastbound 403 is one to avoid. The eastbound 403
Anybody know what the fuck that says
from
besides
Erin Mills
oranges?
Parkway to Huron, Ontario, which is a fairly
that's not
long
clear
stretch,
enough,
and that's
man.
for a collision
My
investigation.
upload speed
All
sucks
lanes
right now.
closed through here, and no word from the MTO or the OPP about when this may be finished, this investigation. As of now, all traffic on the eastbound 403 is being forced off the highway at Erin Mills Parkway. From there, you've got lots of options, though. You can either use surface streets like Burnhamthorpe to the south or Eglinton to the north to get around this. Those are probably the 2 easiest to get to, and they're moving well. If you're heading towards this area, you may just want to detour onto another highway to get around this, so you can use the 407, 401, or QEW, all 3 traveling through Mississauga in the eastbound direction just fine. No problems on any of them, so it's actually not too bad to get around this. Although if you're traveling again towards this area, I would get off the highway east 403 before Erin Mills Parkway. There's a long lineup on that ramp because everybody's being forced off there. The remainder of the highway is not bad. We have a minor problem on the eastbound 401 on the collector ramp to the DVP. The right lane is blocked with a stalled vehicle, so we have crews on scene there. Not much of a delay, but watch out for them. And also the eastbound 407, eastbound and westbound 407 ramps, in fact, to the southbound 400 are closed for construction. Traffic spotter reporting a crash in Oakville, westbound on Dundas and 9th line was down to a single lane for a collision, 2 right lanes blocked. It was slow from the 403. See, the Grandmasters of Curling compete in 6 Grand Slam events. The Pinty's Grand Slam.
We throw rocks on ice.
Your next report at 9:41, and with the forecast, here's Natasha Ramsahai.
A little bit of wet snow this evening, and then overnight tonight as the cold front comes through, we're dropping temperature-wise, starting off at -3 in the morning, continuing to fall to -7. Dress for wind chills of -15, though, by the afternoon. Gusty northwest winds up to 60 kilometers per hour, and the colder air in the wind could drive in lake effect snow with reduced visibility at times, especially through the morning to the north. Tonight, we're down to a low of -3 degrees.
Right now, downtown, it's partly cloudy and 3 degrees. And at Pearson Airport, partly cloudy and +1. 680 News Time, 9:34.
We're going to call that EC number.
Breaking news from the Middle East. U.S. officials confirming
In the
2
middle.
air bases in Iraq that house American troops have been attacked by Iranian forces. It's a retaliation for the airstrike that killed their top general.
680's Phil Martino's.
You gave them the fucking excuse. Jesus, what my grandmother always said, don't give them an excuse.
The Pentagon reports that at 5:30 Eastern Time, Iran launched more
And then
than
after they hit me, I
a dozen
said whatever I
ballistic
wanted
missiles
anyway.
against
Fuck the
military
cops. Fuck
and
you.
coalition forces in Iraq.
Put your hands on me. Put your hands on me again, Bati Bye. Become a Bati on the
These
wall.
missiles were launched from Iran.
And targeted at least 2 Iraqi military bases hosting U.S. military and coalition personnel at Al-Assad and Erbil.
So far, there's no word on any casualties. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard is taking credit for the attacks. CNN's Fred Pletkin, who is in Iran,
Yep, we did it. See, that's how it's gonna go. That's gangbang shit all the fucking way. How you not fucking know that? How you gonna fucking pretend you didn't know that?
Strikes. It's
How messy this hair is.
protesters also, as we were at the funeral procession for Qasem Soleimani as well.
Earlier today, the U.S. Secretary of Defense Mark Esper said we should expect Iran to retaliate in some way, shape, or form.
No
We
shit.
take this one step at a time. We're prepared for any contingency, and
No, you're not.
and then we will respond appropriately to whatever they do.
The Minister of Defense said the U.S. was not looking to start a war, but was prepared to finish one. And President Donald Trump
see, gangbang shit. Oh, we're gonna finish. We don't care who started.
Here at home,
Shut the
Canada's
fuck
Minister
up.
of National Defense has released a statement saying he's monitoring the situation closely. Phil Martino, 680 News.
And now the looming conflict has caused major movement on the markets. Investors moving towards a precious
All the markets is going to affect are outside of North America until the morning. The North American markets can't respond until the morning.
More than 400 points immediately after the attack, setting the stage for a potential sell-off for Wall Street come the 9:30 market open. We've also seen a big flight to safety. Traders buying
they open at 9:30. Okay.
They look for a safe place to park their cash. Gold about $1,600.
Wall Street 9:30. Okay.
Bitcoin surges $400 above $10,000 Canadian. As for oil, it's been moving.
That's interesting because doesn't Iran have reserves of Bitcoin? I would if I was Iran.
Among traders,
I'm not Iran. That's why I don't take Bitcoin.
Disruption of oil supplies from the critical Mideast region.
Look at it all wrinkled. Let it be wrinkled.
680 News Time, 9:36. Breaking news from Mississauga, where Peel police say a man has been taken to hospital after a shooting involving police officers. It happened near Eglinton and Winston.
Did the police shoot him? Like, you can't just say they shot him?
Officers were investigating a vehicle for drug activity before the shooting happened.
When officers went to approach the vehicle drove at the officers, at which time one officer fired several shots into the vehicle, striking the driver.
You're not allowed to do that, officer. You're not allowed to do that. 4,000 pounds with no driver. You're going to shoot the driver. He's going to run right into you anyway.
And we have more breaking news from Mississauga, where a pedestrian has been struck and killed by a vehicle on the eastbound 403 tonight. 680's Karen Seolan joins us with more on this developing story. Karen?
Caitlin, all eastbound lanes of the 403 are shut down between Erin Mills Parkway and Huron, Ontario, as OPP try to figure out why there was a person walking on the busy highway. Police Constable Taylor Conkle tells us what happened.
At approximately 7:19 p.m., we had reports of a pedestrian that was struck by a motor vehicle. We're looking for any witnesses at the time that have stopped. We are going to be interviewing anybody that did observe the collision.
The pedestrian was hit near Huron, Ontario, and died on scene. The driver is cooperating with police, who are now looking for dash cam footage of the incident. And
poor bastard! You're driving down the highway going home. The fuck is a person to pay?
Again, eastbound lanes remain closed between Erin Mills Parkway and Huron, Ontario. Stay tuned for a full traffic report every 10 minutes on the ones. Reporting live, I'm Karen Seolan.
680 News Time, 9:38. It turns out the snowfall we saw earlier this week is just a preview of things to come this weekend. A winter storm is headed our way, prompting Environment Canada to issue special weather statements. 680's Michelle Mackey's tracking the system and joins us live with more. Michelle?
After nearly 4 days in advance of a winter storm, Environment Canada has issued special weather statements for the GTA and all of southern Ontario. 680 meteorologist Natasha Ramsahai says issuing these weather alerts this far in advance indicates that forecast models are aligning.
If the forecast models are kind of all over the place and not in agreement, I don't think Environment Canada would have issued this special weather statement.
But it's still
Environment Canada doesn't rely on your weather reports.
Rain or snow and how much.
We know that the system is very juicy, that moisture coming straight out of the Gulf of Mexico. The question is, what are the temperatures going to be? Because that's going to determine the precipitation type.
680's Weather Center will be closely monitoring the situation and will provide updates if warnings are issued closer to the weekend. Reporting live, I'm Michelle Mackey.
In 30 seconds, we'll check gas prices.
680 News Time, 9:39.
Did you know Ontario has the safest roads in North America? Increased awareness to prevent impaired driving, like calling home, taking a cab, or having a designated driver are some of the reasons. Responsible legislation and
so these police up here, Toronto police in particular, have it in their head that they are fucking demigods. If they stand in front of your car, the car must stop. And if it doesn't, they'll kill everything. We'll look up Richard Kashgar. What did he do? He jumped in front of a moving snowplow. Even his wife is like, oh, bitching about it. What the fuck was he doing jumping in front of a moving truck?
19.9 cents a liter at most GTA stations. In 1 minute, we'll check traffic and weather.
680 News Time, 9:40. When businesses advertise on both 680 News and 98.1 CHFI, not only do they...
I don't feel sorry for cops to get themselves killed. There's a video of Toronto police shooting at a car into the hood, like at the engine block. He shot it like 9 times or 17 times or some shit. That's not going to stop a car, bro. The car's still going to be moving at you. What the fuck are you demonstrating? Look, I have a gun and I'll use it. Good, now you're out of bullets. What the fuck are you doing? People don't use your head.
As the main voice representing the family.
There's a difference between police and soldiers. Police are fucking demigods and soldiers are just disposable, right?
Trust the team at 680 News and CHFI.
I'm very comfortable discussing our business needs with my account reps, and I feel that this trust that we have allows them.
Maybe I should start rolling one before I start the video. It always takes 20 minutes. Right?
It is astonishing how many people will come up to me and say, "Hey."
But then I would smoke it to get to start the video. Said, fuck it, I feel better now. I'm gonna do the video.
CHFI working for you. Call 416-935-NEWS.
So mental note, yesterday the upload speed was 3.5 megabits per second, and today it's 0.8. So I'm gonna check and see if the video quality is any different.
Brought to you by
Probably not.
Seneca Resorts and Casinos. We still have a closure set up on the eastbound 403 in Mississauga from Erin Mills Parkway to Huron, Ontario, and it's all for a collision investigation. There's no word from LPP when they may get this section of the highway reopened, but for the time being, all eastbound traffic being directed off at Erin Mills Parkway, and of course the Erin Mills and Davis ramps to the east 403 are closed. It's fairly easy to get around this. If you're looking for surface streets, you can use Eglinton just to the north of the 403 or Burnham Thorpe to the south. Either one will get you over to Huron, Ontario, where you can rejoin the 403, no problems on either. Or you can use the highways, 407, 401, and QW, all moving eastbound, all moving well eastbound through the Mississauga area instead of the 403. Remainder of our highways, not in bad shape. We had a minor problem on the eastbound 401 collector ramp to the DVP.
I do believe that's 3 pedestrians in about a month or so, and I think all 3 of them got killed.
Closures for construction. The east and westbound 407 ramps to the southbound 400 are closed. And on the 427,
a lot of these places, the shoulders are 2 feet wide.
And east and westbound Evans Avenue ramps to the north.
You can't walk facing traffic.
Looks like that collision
you would have to cross over the road somehow. You can't fucking do it, right?
That area. In Milton, Britannia Road remains closed from Highway 25 to Thompson Road for collision cleanup. Seneca Niagara Resort and Casino features world-class entertainment, triple diamond luxury, over 2,500 slots and 80 table games with complimentary drinks while playing. Your next report at 9:51, and with the forecast, here's Natasha Ramsahai.
If you're curious, it's San
-3
Francisco.
degrees by the morning. Got a little bit of wet snow this evening, and then lake effect snow.
415.
Off to the north, traditional snow belts. You know who you are. Watch for that reduced visibility in the morning. It'll be on and off, and then tapering off through the afternoon with these gusty, cold northwest winds. Temps falling from -3 to -7. Thursday, partly cloudy, and a temperature of -3 in the afternoon, but that's going to continue to rise through Thursday night. Overnight tonight, we're down to a low of -3 degrees.
Right now in downtown Toronto, +3, partly cloudy, feeling like -2.
But he was trying to get 2 cigarettes.
Pearson and partly cloudy. 680 News Time,
Boss, come
9:43.
here, come here.
Tomorrow
Let me
will
talk
mark
to you.
the 4th one-day walkout by some high school teachers and support staff in the province. This after the union says the Ford government rejected its latest offer. OSSTF President Harvey Bischoff says his union offered to delay tomorrow's strike if the province agreed to return to last year's staffing levels for teachers and education workers. Education Minister Stephen Lecce has repeatedly said the key sticking point in negotiations is compensation, and the union is demanding a 2% wage increase. This walkout will affect high schools in the GTA, specifically the Peel District School Board. 680 News Time, 9:44.
Hi, my name's Marilla. I'm not just the voice of the monitoring center, but also the sales manager. Over the past 20 years, we have helped build one of the most successful alarm companies in the industry. The monitoring center is built upon morals, fairness, and efficiencies, delivering the lowest monthly fees to our customers. Think security. Think the monitoring center. Why? Because we care.
License 10349. It's a slap in the face. Your bank refused your mortgage. Don't get mad. Call Northwood Mortgage. Northwood Mortgage takes a closer look at your financial picture, property equity, past record, the promise of performance, and more. Northwood Mortgage does everything they can to approve the mortgage you need.
That's their business. Visit NorthwoodMortgage.com.
We're working harder for you.
This is Old News Radio, 680 News.
It is partly cloudy and 3 in downtown Toronto, feeling like -2. Good evening from the 680 News Broadcast Center. I'm Caitlin Lee.
And I'm Asher Roth here with the top stories this hour.
Oh, your breaking news out of the Middle East, where tensions over the killing of Iran's top general have led to airstrikes on 2 air bases in Iraq hosting the U.S. military. Still no confirmation on if there were any casualties. President
Well, if you run with them, you're part of them, so they're going to
informed
shoot
of
at
the
you.
situation
It's
and
just
is
like
monitoring
gangbang
it
shit.
closely. In
I don't know
Mississauga,
how you
a
people
man is
fucking
in
let these
critical
people do this
condition
shit in your
after
name.
a police-involved shooting at Eglinton and Churchill tonight. A special investigations unit has been called in. And also in Mississauga, a major closure on the eastbound 403 after a person was struck and killed on the highway. It happened around 7:15. Eastbound lanes of 403 still closed from Erin Mills to here, Ontario.
Your car stops moving on these high-speed expressways around here. Stay in the goddamn car.
City Sports brought to you by Bodog.net from Sportsnet 590. The Fan. Here is Show Ali.
Thanks, Caitlin. Well, the Raptors led the Blazers for nearly the entire game, but in the end, it wasn't enough.
Carmelo at the free throw line, jumper up and in.
Oh, wait a second.
Carmelo Anthony taps his chest as he elevated and got a clean look and buried it from the free throw line just above the line, pushing Portland ahead with 3.3 seconds left.
That's Eric Smith with the call. That Carmelo Anthony bucket would be the difference maker as the Raptors fall 101-99 to the visiting Trailblazers. Kyle Lowry had 24 points and 10 assists in the loss, while Serge Ibaka had 17 points and 11 rebounds himself. The Raptors will now hop on a plane to Charlotte, where they'll take on the 50-24 Hornets tomorrow night. A busy night in the NHL as the early games come to a close. Lightning lead the Canucks 9-2 with a few minutes left. Capitals beat the Senators 6-1, and Canadians lead the Red Wings 3-2 midway through the third period. And at least meanwhile, off tonight after a 6-4 loss to the Oilers last evening. They take on the Jets tomorrow night at Scotiabank Arena. Sports at 15 and 45 pass every hour or anytime when the whole
Well, I had some shit in my head I was going to talk about, then I found out Iran just went to war with the U.S. So,
Bodog.net wants to show you how to make a play this basketball season.
we're trying to catch up on that right
The
now.
favorite from LA. You're repping the underdog from the South. When everyone says beating this team.
I want to know for sure, because these people talk so much shit. I want to hear what the fucking government says about the weather. So let's. I'm joking too. I don't trust these people for shit.
Welcome to Environment Canada's Weather Service. Bienvenue au service météorologique d'Environnement Canada. For service in English, press 1. Pour le service en français. For the city of Toronto, press.
For the forecast for the next 7 days, press 1. For the hourly observations, press 2.
Weather conditions at 9 p.m. Toronto, Pearson International Airport, mostly cloudy, temperature +1, relative humidity 77%, wind west-southwest 18, gusting to 37 kilometers per hour, barometric pressure 101.0 kilopascals, and falling. Toronto, downtown, temperature +3, relative humidity 70%, barometric pressure 101.0 kilopascals.
For the forecast.
The Environment Canada forecast issued at 3:57 p.m. Tuesday, January 7th, for tonight, Wednesday, and Wednesday night. City of Toronto, for tonight, increasing cloudiness early this evening, 60%, chance of flurries late this evening and overnight. Wind south 20 kilometers per hour, becoming west 20 near midnight. Low -2, wind chill -7 overnight. For Wednesday, a mix of sun and cloud with 60%, chance of flurries. Wind west 20 kilometers per hour, gusting to 50, becoming northwest 40, gusting to 60 near noon.
Wait, did you just
falling to -5 in the afternoon. UV index 1 or low wind chill -7 in the morning and -15 in the afternoon. For Wednesday night, a few clouds. Wind northwest 20 kilometers per hour, becoming light in the evening. Low -13, wind chill -11 in the evening and -16 overnight. Extended forecast Thursday, increasing cloudiness. High +1. For Thursday night, cloudy with 70% chance of flurries or rain showers. Low +2. For Friday, cloudy with 70%.
Okay, that's enough for me because I've been hearing -19 and then somebody else said +8. Yo, just anything more than 2 days out is a fucking guess.
In support of the Alzheimer's Society. On Saturday, February 1st, join the largest indoor walk in support of Alzheimer's disease in Toronto. Visit walk.alz.to for more information and to register. That's walk.alz.to. Together, we walk.
680 News Time, 9:51.
Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Kyle Hawking.
This report brought to you by 407 ETR. We still have a closure on the eastbound 403, but things have changed
10 minutes
a
in
little
and
bit.
I'm still
Traffic
burning
once
it.
again
That's the
allowed to get
Black
through
Ridge
here in Mills
Road,
Parkway, but the closure is now eastbound 403 from Mavis to Huron, Ontario, still for this collision investigation. So not quite as long of a closure as it was, but traffic is still being forced off the highway. And as of right now,
but
the
not just a black package. Look. It says black in 2 languages on the back. They want to make sure you know.
Collision investigation. So as you travel through this stretch, you're still going to be forced off the highway at Mavis, and you can take surface streets to get around this. Either Vernon Thorpe or Eglinton or any other one in the area will do, or you can use the highways. Just reroute yourself onto the 407, the 401, or the QEW, all three in good shape eastbound through Mississauga. If you're traveling the 407 itself, we've got ramp closures here. The east and westbound 407 ramps to the southbound 400.
Let me see if I go offline.
Construction. And then we have ramp closures on the 427. The northbound Browns line and Evans Avenue, east and westbound Evans Avenue ramps to the 427 northbound closed for construction. Traffic spotter called about a collision at Bathurst and Davenport. Sounds like the intersection is blocked. We have emergency crews on scene. And also in the North York area, westbound Shepherd at Bryan Drive, just as you approach the 404, collision block.
We're frozen the fuck, eh?
Up to 8 degrees with light rain. And then Saturday, rain could be heavy at times. We've got 9 degrees and falling. A winter storm.
Jesus, what's going on?
Saturday night as colder air could switch that rain over to freezing rain.
What the fuck?
Overnight tonight, we're down to -3
You're not annoying me.
Right now in downtown Toronto, it is plus.
Yeah, I know. I got some serious health problems already, so I'm not worried about the smoking. And the other thing is, these are additive free. These are just pure tobacco. There's no gasoline and shit, flame retardants and shit in these. So, and I don't always chain smoke. I just tend to do that when I'm sitting here because I'm rolling the joint and lighting it with a cigarette, and then I fucking don't even smoke it. But yeah, I don't encourage anybody to smoke. I don't give them to kids. I don't fucking sell them to kids. Nothing, man. I don't encourage nobody to smoke. But I was addicted from day one. In the fucking 80s, anybody could walk in the store and buy cigarettes. They were $2.50 for 25, large pack, not these small pack things. $2.50, not no $15. Everybody smoked everywhere. You could smoke in coffee shops. You could smoke in the hallways of these buildings. That's why you'll notice a lot of these older buildings, they have at the elevators, there'll be buttons, and then there'll be like there might be a piece of metal or a patched piece of concrete that looks different. There used to be ashtrays at the elevators because you could smoke in the hallway, but not in the elevator. It was different. So I was basically inhaling, and everybody smoked back then. I was inhaling this shit from day fucking one. I don't smoke around kids or where they are. I don't fucking encourage them to smoke. None of that shit. And yeah, it's not just what you're finding out about vaporizing today is that it's not just what you're intending to inhale. It's all these fucking additives and weird shit that they aren't regulating and shit that fucks you up. So the papers, trees. This is tree cellulose. This is cotton. I think this is rice paper, but I forget. And the inside is just tobacco. I don't get this shit from the government. This comes from the Mohawks. They don't fuck around with this shit. The original tobacco traders. If I couldn't get it from them, I wouldn't fucking do it. I can't fucking handle the Virginia blend cigarettes. Business report is coming.
was canceled. 680 News Time.
And I don't pay no $15 a pack either.
Capital Direct. All of our clients share a common trait or two. They are doing very well. They
My
own their
grandmother
own homes, and they have a sense
got
of
sick
urgency.
from, it's not just
They've got a
smoking,
special
but
home project.
probably
They
didn't
want
help.
to pay down taxes, or they just want to get started saving
My father
on
had a
interest.
fucked up kind of cancer. It
If
wasn't
you've
from the
got something
cigarettes per
you
se,
would
it was
like to
from other
urgently
things.
take care of, call Capital Direct today.
But it spread to his
at
whole body.
1-800-NEW-CAPITAL.
I know people now, and I know somebody,
If I told you there are as many as 2,000
years ago, one guy told me he had one lung because of what happened to him. And then he tried getting a cigarette out, and I was like, buddy, I don't think I can do that for you.
Then would you care? What if I
I know
told
somebody
you
else
you'll
that
see from the streets than they do at home?
was told like 2 years ago, quit now or it's over, and he quit.
Need your help. How young do
Well,
they
I'm
need
not,
to be
I'm not
before
worried
you
about it.
care?
I got health
Donate
problems.
$8 a month to Covenant House Toronto and provide homeless kids with a warm bed,
I'm not looking at a pleasant ending no matter how it
Visit
goes.
covenanthousetororonto.ca to donate.
680 News Time, 9:56.
Now time for your business report. Here is Richard Southern.
Good evening, traders. Wasting no time reacting to the big news out of Iraq. Iran attacking U.S. installations with rockets inside of Iraq. What we've seen is certainly the price of oil surging. Texas tea gaining more than 4%, trading about $65 per barrel. Brent crude as well, surging more than 5%. Certainly the big
5%.
concern is, will we see oil supplies?
You're trying to get 1.5% on your money at the bank in a year. They just hit 5% in a fucking day.
The cryptocurrency jumping more than $400 U.S., above 8,300 USD, or $10,000 Canadian. Gold
That's got to be
continues to rally,
speculation.
topping $1,600 the
It's
ounce
got
for
to be
the first time
speculation. I don't know what
in
would do
7
that.
years. U.S. stock futures have been falling, and the Dow Futures Index has been down more than 400 points. And exchanges in Tokyo and in Sydney, Australia, have been down as much as 2.6%. The TSX in the Tuesday trade did close higher, up 62 points to 17,168, while the Dow.
What do Australia and Japan have to do with fucking Iran? They should go up, not down. It's a safer place to put your money, no?
Trade. Meantime, Chick-fil-A second Toronto
Move it out of
location
the US or
opened
something?
today in Yorkdale Mall, and no surprise, there was a long lineup. What there wasn't this time around was protesters. Certainly, we saw big protests when the U.S.
The gay people I know up here will go to the fucking restaurant on purpose because you don't want them there, and they will gay it up. They'll have gay celebrations and shit. Meet at the Chick-fil-A. I'm not even joking. You have no idea what you're in for, bro.
And who advocate for gay conversion therapy. However, the chain has since tried to change its image. In November, Chick-fil-A announced plans to shift its charitable focus to education, homelessness, and hunger. Canadian dollar at 76.98 cents U.S. This is 680 News.
Hi, I'm Brian Scudamore from 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Is it too early to do spring cleaning?
We bring the springtime with us, ma'am. Just walk around and point at junk you
Tomorrow, the international news is going to be all over.
Wow. You really do bring the springtime.
We leave behind.
He's getting impeached. What does he care? That was a decision he should not have made unless he thought he was going to be around a few years to stand by it. He just dumped that on the next fucking guy, right?
Or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
And he accused Obama over and over he was going to start a war with Iran and stuff. Apparently, I don't remember seeing this when it happened, but there's tweets, there's screenshots of tweets going around.
You want to hear Berkey's hot takes on? Help us out, Max. So Sportsnet. Right.
Yeah, and the international news tomorrow is going to be all. They're going to be all over Trudeau. What's Canada going to do? What's Canada going to do? What's Canada? Canada's going to fucking stay home. I hope.
Right now in downtown Toronto, it is 3 degrees, partly cloudy, feeling like -2. It's plus
Trudeau,
1.
Trudeau isn't in bed right
Call
now.
680
He's not
News Time,
supposed to
10
be
o'clock.
anyway. He's got people bothering him right now.
This is 680 News, Toronto.
Here are Asher Ross and Caitlin Lee.
Good evening. This is Tuesday, the 7th of January.
Here's what's making news this hour.
To Iraqi air bases held in U.S. forces attacked by ballistic missiles. President Donald Trump responds on Twitter.
See, responds on Twitter.
Has been called in to investigate the police shooting of a driver in Mississauga. The man in his late 20s has life-threatening injuries.
He's not dead yet, right?
is dead after being struck by a vehicle on the eastbound 403.
Can't give him an excuse. They're stupid. If a car's driving at you, are you going to stand there and shoot at it? No, you're going to jump out of the way. What does a cop do? He stands there and shoots it.
The city are preparing for another day off school as the standoff between their teachers and the province continues.
One guy told me he flipped the high beams on one of those guys and they couldn't see the shoot. But I wouldn't trust that because these cops will shoot even if they can't see.
Moves are shaking the markets. Stock futures sell off, oil, gold, and Bitcoin rally. Business at 20 cents.
680 News Time, 10:01.
Time for traffic and weather together on the ones with Toronto's most frequent traffic reports. Good evening, Craig Gear.
Hey, good evening, Asher. Caitlin, this report brought to you by Monte Carlo Inn. So, of course, the big closure is the 403 here. So Mavis to Huron, Ontario. This is closed for a crash investigation, probably going to be quite a while. So that's what's going on there. So there are detours around there that are pretty easy to get by. Everything's up to speed. I'm not seeing any problems around this closure. It's pretty light itself as well, not causing any delays. So we'll let you know when that reopens. For right now, eastbound 403 still closed. Mavis to Huron, Ontario now for this crash investigation.
Well,
we're also looking.
You might not have to deal with them directly.
Up now in the 401.
If this shit blows over, this shit is going to blow up into everybody's face.
The westbound 401 into collectors, that ramp is shut from the southbound 404.
U.S. subprime mortgage market fucked the whole world economy for like 5 fucking years.
Continuing west, it looks like most construction's on the westbound 401 tonight through Kiel. Looks like we also have that Kiel ramp closed onto the highway. The Kiel ramps onto the westbound 401.
You don't have to deal with U.S. dollars. We have to deal with U.S. dollars here. We have to deal with U.S. dollars here.
But all in all, not a lot going on. We also have the northbound Browns line.
And the worst we could do is just say, oh, we'll take it at par.
That's 427
we have to take the fucking
off the highway. Bathurst is closed at Davenport. Davenport also some lanes restricted here. This is for a crash that was called in by a traffic spotter. Looking for a wonderful winter escape right now at Monte Carlo Inns. You can save 20% on a luxury suite. Go to MonteCarloInns.com and enter the promo code WINTER. Your next report is at 10:11, and with the forecast, here's Natasha Ramza. Hi.
A little bit of wet snow this evening, melting on impact here across the GTA. Could see a centimeter or two across higher elevations to the north, but that's going to taper off as we drop to -3 degrees by the morning, continuing to fall to -7, wind chill -15 by the afternoon. Watch for lake effect snow, which could impact visibility if you're driving in from the north tomorrow morning. Overnight tonight, we're down to -3 degrees by morning. Right now in downtown Toronto, 3 degrees, partly cloudy. It's +1 at Pearson. 680 News Time, 10:03.
Breaking news from the Middle East, where Iran has fired more than a dozen ballistic missiles at 2 military bases in Iraq that house U.S. troops, calling it hard revenge for last week's airstrike that killed Iran's top general.
Did they kill anybody
U.S.
in these
President Donald Trump
airstrikes?
responding on Twitter just minutes ago. 680's Michelle Mackey is following this situation and joins us live with the latest. Michelle.
Caitlin, the Pentagon.
I'm in Canada. I'm in Canada, bro. I'm not in the U.S. Yeah, that was why I was pointing this out. I'm not in the U.S. I'm in Toronto, Canada, Ontario.
U.S. military and coalition forces in Iraq.
I'm literally right in the middle of all. I was close to the. We're fucking what? 2 hours out of New York.
Barbara Starr reports.
Some shit like that.
And targeted at least 2 Iraqi military bases hosting U.S. military and coalition personnel at Al-Assad and Erbil.
Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard is taking credit for the rocket attacks. CNN's Fred Plankton, who is in Iran, says the group has released a statement that is entitled,
That's the Canadian Tire fucking money, bro. Canadian Tire money. I'm going to cash that in for duct tape or something.
Protesters also, as we were at the funeral procession for Qasem Soleimani as well.
This is a better
country. As Caitlin mentioned minutes ago, U.S. President Donald Trump made his first public statement following the attack on Twitter. Quote, all is well. Missiles launched from Iran at 2 military bases located in Iraq. Assessment of casualties and damages taking place.
He's talking about pulling out of Iraq?
So far, so good. We have the most powerful and well-equipped military anywhere in the world by far. I will be making a statement tomorrow morning.
Look who's at the wheel, though.
Reporting live, I'm Michelle Mackey.
And the market is quick to react to what's happening in the Middle East. Richard Southern has more from the Business Center.
Yeah, investors shaken by news of this attack. We've seen U.S. stock futures sell off. Dow futures have been down more than 4 100 points, setting the stage perhaps for a bit of a sell-off for Wall Street in the morning. Asia Pacific stocks already open for the Wednesday trade, and they have been down to the tune of about 2.5% or so. Big flight to safety. Traders looking for a safe place to put their cash. They found Bitcoin. It's jumping $400 above 10,000.
I would buy in right about now, man. Japan and Australia.
Very bright. Crossing $1,600 US dollars. The most expensive we've seen gold bullion in about 7 years. Then there's oil. It's jumped above $65 US dollars per barrel amid the big worry about the potential disruption of crude oil from this Mideast region. At the Business Center, Richard Southern, 680 News.
680 News Time, 10:06. Breaking news from Mississauga, where a man in his 20s is in critical condition after being shot by a Peel police officer.
Almost never turns on, eh?
Phil Martino tells us the province's police watchdog has been called in. Peel Regional Police Constable Sarah Patton says officers from the street crime unit were in the Winston, Churchill, and Eglinton area around 7:30 p.m. investigating a vehicle for drug activity when the shots were fired.
When officers went to approach the vehicle drove at the officers, at which time one officer fired several shots into the vehicle, striking the driver.
Police say the vehicle then drove into a garage in a nearby townhouse complex. The driver, a man in his late 20s, was taken to hospital in a life-threatening condition. The SIU has been contacted. The agency investigates incidents involving police officers where there has been death, serious injury, or allegations of sexual assault. I'm Phil Martino.
680 News Time, 10:07. Happening now in Mississauga, a major closure on a stretch of Highway 403 after a pedestrian was struck and killed earlier this evening. 680's Karen Seolin is tracking the situation and joins us live with more. Karen?
Sure, the first call's coming in just before 7:30 tonight. Police Constable Taylor Conkle says a number of drivers reported a pedestrian on the 403, but it's unclear if that person was in live lanes of traffic or on the shoulder.
We're unsure of why that pedestrian was on the highway. It's all going to be determined through a reconstruction. We're going to look at NTO footage. We're going to look at dash cam if there was any obtained, and witness statements from people who stayed on scene.
Now, the person was hit by a vehicle in the eastbound lanes near Huron, Ontario, and later pronounced dead on scene. As you've been hearing, traffic now getting through at Erin Mills Parkway, but all eastbound lanes remain shut down from Mavis to Huron, Ontario as police investigate. Officers still working to identify the victim. Reporting live, I'm Karen Seolin.
680 News Time, 10:08. Peel police are updating the investigation into a teenager killed in a hit-and-run in Brampton over the weekend. It happened around 12:15 Sunday morning on Queen Street east of Cherry Crest Drive. 16-year-old Diana Manet from Toronto was taken to hospital where she was pronounced dead. Investigators say they want to speak with anyone who attended a house party with Diana the night before. They believe she may have left the party with someone. Investigators also want to speak with a young male who was at the scene of the crash and spoke to another witness. He's described as South Asian with a slim build. Anyone with information on this case is asked to contact Peel Police.
And no school tomorrow for some Ontario high school students, as roughly 15,000 members of the Ontario Secondary School Teachers Federation are set to once again walk off the job. This marks the fourth one-day walkout by some high school teachers and support staff, and includes the Peel District School Board here in the GTA. OSSTF President Harvey Bischoff says his union offered to delay tomorrow's strike if the province agreed to return to last year's staffing levels for teachers and education workers. The province's main sticking point in the negotiations is compensation, with the union demanding a 2% wage increase. Coming up in 30 seconds, we'll check the price of gas.
680 News Time, 10:09.
This is 680 News.
Maybe you don't know where to start. Maybe tomorrow's goals feel so far away.
The fuck are you selling?
Maybe you're closer than you think. That a simple conversation can spark something amazing. Your savings and investments can stand for so much more when they don't stand still. And Scotiabank can help every step of the way. Energize your investing. You're richer than you think. Scotiabank.
Now the 680 News gas price update. Info predicts the price of gas is going to stay the same at midnight, holding at just under $1.20 a liter. 680 News Time, 10:10.
I joined because I wanted to help others.
To be a part of something bigger.
To show my kids what's important.
I joined to make my community stronger.
To make a difference in someone's life.
During
acknowledge that our freedoms come at a cost.
I join to honor my mom,
My grandpa,
my neighbor,
everyone who served.
who are serving still. Honoring veterans is our duty. Join today at legion.ca/join.
I thought it was going to be for the forces.
It's coming
They used to run billboards that said some shit like looking for work. What the fuck?
to the show. Save time and money. No combo tickets. The Toronto International Boat Show, presented by the Toronto Star, January 17th to 26th at the Enercare
There's only so much they're going to tell us. And it won't matter where on the internet I look. There's only so much they're going to tell us about this air show.
Visit TorontoBoatShow.com.
I wonder if they're going to put the video.
Time 10:11. Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Craig. This report brought to you by Mark Feldstein and Associates. So the big problem, it's not even really a problem right now. It's just you have to deal with the detour because of it. So the eastbound 403 has been closed now between Mavis and here, Ontario, for a crash investigation. So if you're getting forced off at Mavis, that ramp is doing fine. And then you can travel south to Rathburn and take Rathburn across and rejoin and be on your way. Just to make that left on here, Ontario, join the here, Ontario ramps back onto the eastbound 403. It's really not a big problem. Both these ramps are lightly traveled at the moment, so your detour isn't going to add too much time onto your drive and cause a bit of a headache either. Everything's doing pretty well, but we'll let you know when it reopens. Eastbound 403 is still shut down for the moment. Mavis to here, Ontario, we still have the Mavis ramps to the eastbound 403 closed, obviously. We also have the northbound Browns line, east and westbound Evans Avenue ramps to the northbound 427 closed for maintenance. Highway 7 ramps onto the southbound 427 shut down. Bit of extra construction coming in that's closing the ramp to the westbound 401 collectors from the south 404. We have the eastbound Steeles ramp to the northbound 404 closed.
Apparently I did it right, but I don't
ramp to the
remember where
southbound 400 shut down for overnight construction. A couple of ramps that are blocked dealing with the westbound 401. The ramp 2 Leslie closed off the highway, and we have the Keel ramps onto the westbound 401 closed for maintenance. For all your personal and corporate tax accounting needs, call Mark Feldstein and Associates, Chartered Professional Accountants. Call from your mobile now account tax or online at markfeldstein.ca. Your next report is at 10:21, and with the forecast, here's Natasha Ramsahai.
Some light wet snow this evening, and then lake effect snow is going to take over tomorrow with gusty west-northwest winds up to 50 to 60 kilometers per hour. We are waking up to -3. That's going to be cold enough to give us that lake effect snow in the morning. Watch for some reduced visibility at times and some slick conditions to start. It'll get drier through the afternoon with temperatures falling to -7, wind chill -15. By Thursday morning, we're waking up to wind chills of -18. We'll see some sun to start, increasing cloud, and an afternoon temperature of -3. Tonight, we're down to a low of -3 degrees by
That's the
morning.
shit I'm talking about.
Right now in downtown Toronto, it is overcast and 3 degrees, and at Pearson Airport, we've got sunny conditions currently +1. City News Time 10:13. Singer Taylor Swift and writer, director, producer Janet Mock will be honored at the GLAAD Media Awards for the advocacy for LGBTQ issues. The singer will receive the Vanguard Award, presented to allies who have made a significant difference in promoting acceptance of LGBTQ people. Mock, meantime, will receive the Stephen F. Kolzak Award, presented to an LGBTQ media professional. The GLAAD Media Awards will be handed out in Los Angeles on April 16th. Your top stories, and we'll tell you how the Raptors did straight ahead. 680 News Time 10:14.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.ca/Canada. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its
Don't
powerful
put your hands
technology
on my
identifies
people. I
people
know
with the
you
right
people that don't
experience
like me
and
watch
actively
this. Of
invites
course,
them to
Howard
apply to your
Stern.
job.
They ask.
So while other
People that
companies
like
might
it. How long
deliver
do you
a lot of
listen on
pay,
average?
ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for.
Hour and a half.
The
Why?
needle in the haystack.
God, I just can't wait to hear what he says next. The
The
people that don't like it, how long do you listen? 2.5 hours. Why? Because I just can't wait to hear what he says next.
You can try ZipRecruiter
So
for free.
don't put your hands on my fucking
Free.
people. It is
Just
going to be
go to
fucking
this
problems. I
exclusive
swear to
web address,
fucking God.
ZipRecruiter.ca/Canada. That's ZipRecruiter.ca/CAN.
This shit's on the fucking news, eh? Like this ain't a fucking joke.
ZipRecruiter.ca/Canada.
This is all news News Radio, 680 News.
Overcast and 3 degrees in downtown Toronto. Good evening from the 680 News Broadcast Center. I'm Asher Roth. Here are the top stories this hour. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard have confirmed they've fired ballistic missiles at least 2 military bases in Iraq that house U.S. forces. There's no word yet on casualties. Iran State TV describes the attack as revenge for last week's airstrike that killed General Qasem Soleimani. U.S. President Donald Trump addressing the situation on Twitter this evening, saying, "All is well, so far, so good." The province's police watchdog is now investigating a police-involved shooting in Mississauga that left a man in his 20s with life-threatening injuries. Peel police say officers were looking into drug activity near Winston Churchill and Eglinton when the shooting took place. There is no word yet on charges. And the eastbound 403 is still closed from Mavis to Ontario after a pedestrian was struck and killed on the roadway at around 7:15 this evening. No word yet on why the victim was on the highway. Time now for 680 Sports from Sportsnet 590 The Fan. It's Show Ali. Show.
Thanks, Asher. Well, the Raptors fell 101-99 to the visiting Trailblazers, and afterwards, Nick Nurse praised the efforts of the bench.
Those guys were great. I thought, first of all, they were unbelievable in the first half, the way they played and took it out there, and they still held in pretty good in the second. You know, I think they scored some 34 points or something off the bench, which, geez, we take that every night of the week, and we'd be in really good shape. So I thought those guys were great.
Carmelo Anthony turned back time and led all scorers with 28 points in the win for Portland, including the game winner for the Raptors. Kyle Lowry had 24 points and 10 assists, while Serge Ibaka had 17 and 11. Toronto will now hop on a plane to Charlotte, where they'll take on the 15-24 Hornets tomorrow night. The Carolina Hurricanes have brought back Justin Williams, a.k.a. Mr. Game 7, on a one-year deal worth $700,000. We'll also look around a busy night in the NHL as well. Flames lead the Blackhawks 2-1 in the second intermission, while the Sharks are up on the Blues 3-1. While the Leafs themselves were off tonight, they'll take on the Jets tomorrow evening at Scotiabank Arena. Sports at 15-45 past every hour or anytime on the home of Tim and Sid, now on TV and radio. Sportsnet 590 The Fan.
680 News Time, 10:17.
Mom, Dad, come outside. There's a camera crew in our driveway holding a giant check for $1 million.
Oh, do we have to?
It's kind of cold out.
How frigid.
Not everything is worth rushing out of bed for this new year, but Sleep Country's Boxing Week sale is. Plus, start the year off right with incredible prices on duvets, pillows, sheets, and more. And get a Hot Buy Queen mattress with built-in cooling gel technology, just $369. But hurry in store or online, it all ends soon. Sleep Country, all for sleep. Do you want to make more money? Own your own business? Shake things up. Visit the Franchise Expo this Saturday and Sunday at the Metro Toronto Convention Center. Your ticket to the Franchise Expo gets you face-to-face with North America's hottest franchises, offering full and part-time opportunities, plus free seminars with everything you need to know to own a business. There are countless opportunities to be the boss, call the shots, and love your work at Canada's largest franchise expo this weekend at the Metro Toronto Convention Center. Get tickets at TorontoFranchiseExpo.com.
You're listening to All News Radio. This is 680 News. It's 10:18. Disgraced movie mogul Harvey Weinstein was scolded by a judge today as jury selection began in his criminal trial in New York.
An exasperated Judge James Berg threatened to revoke Harvey Weinstein's bail over his repeated use of a cell phone in the courtroom. Is this really how you want to end up in jail for the rest of your life, the judge asked. It prompted an apology from the defense, but the judge told Weinstein's attorneys to take his phone before he enters court. The judge also rejected a defense request to delay the trial because of new sex charges against Weinstein in Los Angeles. For a prosecutor, this is Christmas morning, the defense said, the morning of jury selection, to have him smeared everywhere. The judge said he's confident a jury will understand Weinstein is presumed innocent. Aaron Katersky, ABC News, New York.
Back here at home, police need your help identifying potential suspects in an ongoing firearms investigation. This after officers found a number of guns inside a car in the Eglinton and Avenue Road area. 680's Mark Douglas has more.
A vintage Cadillac abandoned in Midtown. Sounds simple enough until police found a pile of guns inside. Constable Jen Sadu says they found a sawed-off shotgun, a semi-automatic rifle, and 2 semi-automatic handguns.
One was prohibited. 2 were restricted, 2 were modified, and all were stored illegally.
Police believe these weapons have already been used for drug trafficking and robberies, but police don't know any specifics, so they need to find whoever left that white 92 DeVille sitting out here on Eglinton West near Avenue Road. It was reported back on December 21st. People who live in this area would prefer those suspects be found sooner.
Are there no license plates on this trip?
Here, I am surprised and worried. From Avenue in Eglinton, I'm Mark Douglas.
Traffic and weather together next.
I gotta see a picture of that. I don't even have to see. I know what it looks like. I gotta look at a picture of a white 92 DeVille. I got to.
Lots of yoga, and we'd like to consolidate our debt.
Do you own your home?
Yes.
Because it was loud.
Alpine credits.
This machine here never turns on, so
you can reduce your monthly bills
it's
and
like it's
put
come
your
back to
choppers in
life
balance.
out of retirement or something.
Alpine credits. Some conditions apply.
I don't know where I plugged it in. Oh, I think I
A
know where I
wise man
plugged it in.
once said to treat your body like a temple. But what did he say about the temple you call home? Just like your body, only the best will do for your home. And Appliance Canada brings you premium and ultra-premium brands with the quality and craftsmanship you'd expect from the top names. Sub-Zero, Wolf, Thermador, Miele, Gaggenau, Heston, and more. Backed by highly trained associates eager to help. Upgrade with Appliance Canada. Find a showroom in Toronto, Vaughan, or Mississauga at appliancecanada.com. 1021.
Traffic and weather together on the ones. Here is Craig Gear. This report is brought to you by Viva Next. So, of course, we have the eastbound 403 closed still from Mavis to here, Ontario. The Erin Mills and Mavis ramps onto the eastbound 403 are closed. So once you get forced off at Mavis, this ramp is very lightly traveled. Head south and you can take the best detour right now is Rathburn. Looks not very heavily traveled right now. And then you can take Rathburn onto the Huron Ontario ramp and then join 403 and continue your journey from here, Ontario, if you want to do that. Just a very short stretch of the highway closed down still, but it's not causing a huge headache. We do have some construction that's blocking some ramps right now. Highway 7 ramps to the south 427 closed. Grounds Line and ramps to the northbound 427 also shut down. Southbound 404 ramp onto the westbound 401 collectors is closed. You can still access the west 401, but you'll end up in the express. Not a big deal. Eastbound Steeles ramp to the northbound 404, that's also been closed down, and a couple of ramps are blocked on the westbound side of the 401. The ramp to Leslie has been blocked off, and no access onto the westbound 401 from the Keel ramps. These are both closed for some construction right now. We do have some lanes blocked at Bathurst and Davenport. This is for a crash, but things are slowly getting back up to speed eastbound and westbound, still with the delay northbound. Traffic, though, it looks a little heavier than normal. The bus rapid way is now open in Newmarket on Yonge Street from Savage, Sawmill Valley to Davis. The red lanes are for Viva vehicles only, so drive with care. Visit vivanext.com for information. Your next report is at 10:31 with the forecast. Here's Natasha Ramsay.
A little bit of wet snow passing through this evening. That tapers off overnight tonight down to a low -3. Now, a cold front comes through, so that -3 in the morning will continue to fall to -7, wind chill -15 by the afternoon. So please dress for that colder late day temperature and watch for lake effect snow with reduced visibility at times through tomorrow morning. Gusty northwest winds up to 60 kilometers per hour. We'll see a bit of sun in there as well. Thursday is dry, partly cloudy and -3. Friday, light rain and 8 degrees, but we're keeping a close eye on Saturday and Sunday as rain could start switching over to snow and freezing rain by Saturday night. Special weather statement is in effect for this potentially high impact winter storm for the weekend. Tonight we are down to a low of -3 degrees.
Right now, downtown, it's overcast and 2 degrees. It feels like -3. And at Pearson Airport, overcast +1, feeling like -3.
I'm here with Bill Coy of Coy Brothers, and we're getting tips on how to use a snow shovel.
Firmly grip your shovel.
Okay, then?
And then toss it.
What?
A shovel's useless compared to a Toro snowblower like the 38757. Its electric start, self-propelled, and the aim snow on the go feature allows you to change the chute direction without stopping. It throws snow 40 feet.
That's about how far you threw my shovel, which I don't need because I'm getting a Toro from Coy Brothers.
KOOYBROS.com.
Coming up at 10:30, our Michelle Mackey will have the latest developments in the Middle East, where Iran has retaliated for the U.S.-ordered airstrike that killed its top general. 680 News Time, 10:24.
My people, I swear to fucking God, man.
Anytime a storm hits the GTA, the 680 News Extreme Weather Center is activated with the latest road conditions, weather updates,
And whether school is open or closed.
when you need to know, the 680 News Extreme Weather Center has you covered.
Brought to you by Air Transat, Vacation is Calling, and Subaru, Confidence in Motion.
Exclusively on 680 News and 680news.com.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Butler Mortgage. Breaking news from Iraq, where as you've been hearing in our top story, Iranian missiles have struck 2 bases in Iraq that house U.S. troops. There's still no official word on casualties. CNN's Frederick Pleitkin is in Iran.
The Iranians are saying, or have been saying, through various channels, that they don't want this to escalate into a wider conflict. They don't want this to turn into a war. They said they want to retaliate, and they want it to end there. But it's not clear how long that retaliation is going to last and how big that retaliation is going to be.
The White House says there will be no address from President Trump tonight.
I just switched my variable mortgage to a 2.54 fixed rate at Butler Mortgage.
I thought variable mortgages were always the way to go.
They were for 20 years, but not now. I was at 3.25%, switched to a 5-year fixed 2.54% at Butler Mortgage. Very easy process and saving thousands a year.
If you currently have a variable rate mortgage, Butler Mortgage is 2.54% 5-year fixed. Appraisal and legal fees are covered. License number 12118, 5-year fixed rate, APR 2.56%.
Coming to CBC. These are the 3 Marines you killed last night. As of today, you belong to me.
Am I being arrested?
Depends on what? On me. A soldier makes a deadly mistake, and his only hope for freedom is to become a spy. We want the good people of Canada to be afraid of activists and draft dodgers. Earn their trust. You know, when this is over, I'm done with you. Yeah, but will I be done with you? Fortunate Son. New series. Tomorrow at 9 on CBC and CBC Gem.
Now the business report. Here is Richard Southern.
Good evening. Traders rattled by the Iran strike. We've seen the price of oil surge, stock futures tumble, and investors have looked for a safe place to park their cash. They found gold, which has jumped above $1,600 for the first time in 7 years. They've also found Bitcoin, which has jumped some $400 to some $8,300 per coin. That's more than $10,000 Canadian. Bitcoin very much turning into the modern day safe haven play. As for that price of oil, we've seen it up more than 4% this evening, at times trading about 65 US dollars per barrel, with the big concern being the possible disruption of oil supplies out of the Mideast. U.S. stock futures have been selling off. Dow futures have been down more than 400 points, pointing, at least at this early stage, towards a decline for the Wall Street stock market at the 9:30 open tomorrow morning. The Wednesday trade has been underway for some time in the Asia-Pacific region, and we've seen some negative returns, though nothing too dramatic. The Nikkei has been down more than 2%, mind you. In the Tuesday trading session, the TSX managed a 62-point gain, up to 17,168. The Dow fell 119 points. S&P was down 9, and the NASDAQ composite was down 2.
What's it going to be tomorrow, though?
Meantime, hold my beer. It appears legal cannabis in Canada is taking a bite out of the beer business. New data from Beer Canada shows the beer sales are down 3% over the past 12 months. And legal pot, not a huge surprise. We saw Canada, same thing in the States. Beer sales fell in Colorado, Washington, and Oregon after cannabis was legalized. It was a down day for many of the cannabis stocks. HEXO fell 5.8%. to $1.79. Canadian dollar at 76.97 cents US. The latest on our breaking news, just 60 seconds away on 680 News.
The Toronto International Boat Show presents its annual preview day, Friday, January 17th. Sponsored by the Toronto Star and Pride Marine Group. Preview and shop at North America's largest indoor boat show. Bid on over 100 live and silent auction items while supporting children's charities here in Ontario. The Toronto International Boat Show, helping kids find calmer waters. Preview day is Friday, January 17th at the Enercare Center. Visit TorontoBoatShow.com. The Hunt. is on City TV. Lincoln Rhyme, forensic criminologist, obsessed in his pursuit of a diabolical serial killer known only as the Bone Collector, a master criminal who has evaded justice. Based on the series of best-selling novels by Jeffrey Deaver, time is running out to find a nemesis and crack the case that almost killed him. Lincoln Rhyme, Hunt for the Bone Collector. It all starts Friday on City TV. It's time for the 680 News Business Traveler's Forecast, brought to you by Walmart.
With Walmart's guaranteed unbeatable low prices, save $6.99 on 30 rolls of cashmere bathroom tissue. Now only $11.98. Walmart. Save money, live better.
New York City, a clear sky and 0. Atlanta, clear and 10. And right now in downtown Toronto, it is overcast and 2 degrees. 680 News Time, 10:30.
Number 1 for news in Toronto. This is 680 News.
Here are Asher Ross and Caitlin Lee. Good evening. It's Tuesday, January 7th.
Here's what's making news right now.
Less than a week after the assassination of a top Iranian general, the country has struck back, launching more than a dozen missiles at 2 Iraqi bases housing U.S. troops.
A man in his 20s has life-threatening injuries after being shot by police in Mississauga. The SIU has been called in to investigate.
A pedestrian has been struck and killed on the eastbound 403 near Huron, Ontario, where lanes are now blocked. Police aren't yet sure why a person was on the highway.
Schools out tomorrow at select high schools across the province as the OSSTF stages another one-day walkout. The Peel District School Board impacted this time around.
The Raptors drop 1 to the Blazers at home, and the Carolina Hurricanes are bringing back a familiar face. Sports at 45.
The price for oil bubbling higher amid the situation in Iraq. Gold and Bitcoin surge, and the stage set for a possible sell-off on Wall Street in the morning. Business at 56.
680 News Time, 10:31.
Time for traffic and weather. Together on the ones, here is Craig Gear.
This report brought to you by the 407 ETR, where we have the ramp to the southbound 400 coming off of the eastbound 407 closed. The ramp to the south 400 from the west 407, that's also blocked off. The big problem is the closure of the eastbound 403. Still shut down here from Mavis to here, Ontario. It's a big problem because the highway's closed, but earlier
I'm not fucking playing when I say I got health problems. I'm fucking dying. Don't make me fucking prove that a life sentence is going to be the fucking
looking at the ramp right now. It's not jamming up. Everything is moving smoothly. A good alternate still is to head south once you get off the highway. Use Rathburn, rejoin the East 403 from here, Ontario ramp off of Rathburn there. Just jump onto here, Ontario, and then jump onto the eastbound 403, and you're on your way. We have a bit of construction out there. West 401 ramp to Leslie closed. The Keel ramps to the highway have also been blocked off. Lane restrictions here and there, but nothing that's causing any problems. Eastbound Steeles ramp to the North 404 shut down. Southbound 404 ramp onto the westbound 401 collectors is closed. You can still get onto the west 401 from the southbound 404, but you have to do it into the express. No big deal. Browns Line, Evans Avenue ramps to the northbound 427 shut down for maintenance as well. And the Highway 7 ramps to the southbound 427 are closed. Still with some lanes blocked here for a crash at Bathurst and Davenport. Things are improving though, so that's some good news in town. 407 ETR saves drivers 30 million hours of time each year, giving you more time for the things that matter most to you. Visit 407etr.com. Your next report is at 10:41, and with the forecast, here's Natasha Ramza. Hi.
A little bit of wet snow this evening, and then overnight tonight as the cold front comes through, we're dropping temperature-wise, starting off at -3 in the morning, continuing to fall to -7. Dress for wind chills of -15, though, by the afternoon. Gusty northwest winds up to 60 kilometers per hour. And the colder air in the wind could drive in lake-effect snow with reduced visibility at times, especially through the morning to the north. Tonight, we're down to a low of -3 degrees.
Right now in downtown Toronto, it is 2 degrees under an overcast sky, and at Pearson Airport, overcast and +1, feeling like -3. 680 News Time, 10:33.
You can't get a good picture of one of these fucking times.
News out of Iraq, where at least 2 air bases hosting U.S. troops were hit by Iranian missiles. It comes after Iran's Revolutionary Guard warned of retaliation for the death of its top general at the hands of the Americans.
680's Michelle Mackey is following this story and joins us live. Michelle, we're hearing an update about Canadian forces in the region.
Yeah, Asher, in a statement to families of Canadian armed forces in the Middle East, Canada's Chief of Defense General Jonathan Vance says
So
I can
classic.
assure you that all deployed CAF personnel are safe and accounted for following missile attacks in Iraq. We remain vigilant, unquote. Meantime, Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard is taking credit for the attacks. The group has released a statement entitled, "This is the beginning of hard revenge." Revenge Iranians say they want it for the killing of General Qasem Soleimani. The Pentagon says the missiles were launched pre-dawn Wednesday morning local time, less than 24 hours after Soleimani's funeral. U.S. President Donald Trump made his first public statement following the attack on Twitter, reading in part, "All is well." Missiles launched from Iran at 2 military bases located in Iraq. Assessment of casualties and damages taking place now. So far, so good. We have the most powerful and well-equipped military anywhere in the world by far. Trump is expected to make a White House address to the nation tomorrow morning. Reporting live, I'm Michelle Mackey.
The markets are reacting to the military action in the Middle East. With the latest, we check in with Richard Southern at the 680 Business Center.
Yeah, traders have wasted no time looking for safety. They found gold, the price for the yellow metal, a traditional safe haven play, jumping above $1,600 US for the first time in 7 years. Bitcoin as well serving as a safe haven. It gains $400 above $10,000 Canadian. Oil higher as well. We've seen the price above $65 the potential disruption of oil supplies from the region. You want to check ahead on your flights, particularly if you're connecting to the United States. The U.S. Federal Aviation Administration issuing flight restrictions for the Persian Gulf airspace amid all this. Richard Southern, 680 News.
That's such a strange reaction to the markets. I don't understand that.
Breaking news from Mississauga, where Peel police say a man in his 20s in hospital with life-threatening injuries tonight after being shot by an officer. 680's Phil Martino has more.
Peel Regional Police say officers were looking into drug activity in the Winston Churchill and Eglinton area around 7:30 p.m. when the shooting took place. According to Constable Sarah Patton, the officers approached a vehicle and the man behind the wheel drove at them. She confirms one officer fired several shots into the vehicle, hitting the driver.
The vehicle then drove into a garage in a townhouse complex in the area where they were investigating this vehicle, and the driver has since been taken to a trauma center in life-threatening condition.
The Special Investigations Unit has been called in to investigate. The agency looks into incidents involving police officers where there has been death, serious injury, or allegations of sexual assault. I'm Phil Martino. 680 News Time, 10:37. Happening now in Mississauga, a portion of the eastbound 403 shut down after a person was struck and killed on the highway. 680's Karen Seolin joins us live with the latest. Karen.
That's right, Caitlin. A person is dead after being struck by a vehicle on the eastbound 403. It happened near here, Ontario, just before 7:30 tonight. Now, why that person was walking on the busy highway is something OPP are looking into.
It looks like we might have gotten some calls in regards to the pedestrian in the area. But we are going to be looking at why that pedestrian got on the highway and where that vehicle was in relation to the pedestrian, if it was on the shoulder or if it was in a live lane.
That's Police Constable Taylor Conkle. He says officers are going to look at MTO footage and are urging any witnesses to come forward or those with dash cam footage. Now, Conkle says the driver involved remained at the scene. As police scour the highway for evidence, the eastbound lanes are closed from Mavis to here, Ontario. Your full traffic report is just ahead. Reporting live, I'm Karen Seolin.
This is 680 News, All News Radio at 10:38. Tomorrow's one-day walkout by some high school teachers and support staff will go ahead as planned after the union says the province rejected its latest offer. OSSTF President Harvey Bischoff says his union offered to delay tomorrow's strike if the province agreed to return to last year's staffing levels for teachers and education workers. Education Minister Stephen Lecce has repeatedly said the key sticking point in negotiations is compensation, with the union demanding a 2% wage increase. This will be the fourth walkout held by the union and will affect high schools in the Peel District School Board here.
I don't understand. I'm not hating on teachers. Why any of these government employees need so much money? $97,000 a year plus 2%.
Weather statements are issued across the GTA.
It's not $15,000 plus 2%. It's $97,000 or something plus 2%.
Says it's still too soon to determine who will see rain, freezing rain, or snow, and how much.
We know that the system is very juicy, that moisture coming straight out of the Gulf of Mexico. The question is, what are the temperatures going to be? Because that's going to determine the precipitation type.
680's Weather Center will be closely monitoring the situation. In 30 seconds, we'll check the prices at the pump.
680 News Time, 10:39.
He was always home for dinner by 5.
Where's Daddy? It's almost 7.
The accident changed our lives.
I couldn't work. Would my family's future be secure?
Oh, we were scared about our future. Then we got in touch with Michael Lamont.
He helped us find our way to a new life.
Hey, Dad, let's play ball.
I'm Michael Lamont. Personal injury is all we do.
So the teachers' pension fund is a big financial entity, and then you've got all these unions, and there's 4 fucking school boards over here for some reason. So it's all politics.
News gas price update and pro
And just
predicts the
a
price
subtle
will
little bit of
change at
racism.
midnight, holding at $1.19.9 a liter at most GTA stations. Traffic and weather is next.
Against French and
680 News
Catholic
Time,
and shit.
10:40. On January 12th, the Today Showstopper at TSC will be the Vitamix 7500 low-profile blender with an additional dry container for grains, nuts, and other whole foods, plus a flip-top smoothie bottle and recipe book. With its high-performance power and space-saving design, it makes short work of hearty soups and perfect purees in the large 64-ounce container. Watch for this exclusive bundle on January 12th when it's the Today Showstopper. Shop tsc.ca. Today's shopping choice.
Questions about your home's water quality? Call on Reliance Home Comfort. Josh asks, I keep hearing about reverse osmosis. What is it? Well, Josh, a reverse osmosis water filtration system has many benefits. It can improve the taste and smell of tap water while helping to remove contaminants like lead. If you're interested in reverse osmosis, right now, get your own reverse osmosis purifier for a low monthly rate.
My dad had half of a $20 bill on his, sort of like what I got here, for fucking years. He wouldn't listen to me. I kept telling him, it's half the bill, it's got the serial number, the bank will give you $10 for the half the 20.
This report is
They'll
brought to
do
you
that
by
in Canada.
Scottsdale CVB.
It has to be more than a third of the bill and have the serial, but
is
they'll
still
do that.
closed Mavis to here,
Oh, what do you
Ontario
have to
for a
fucking do
crash
with it?
investigation. Little by little, they are releasing areas of this investigation back to traffic. So we have the Aaron Mills ramps onto the highway closed off. The Mavis
I
ramps
cannot
remain
find
closed to the
a
eastbound
picture I could show
403.
you.
This
I
is
want
where
to see,
you're still
will they
getting
show me the
forced
picture
off.
of
Very
this car?
lightly
Is it the
traveled.
2-door or the
Not
4-door?
really seeing any
I want to
traffic
see this, man.
using the eastbound 403 in this area right now. So if
I
you
gotta
do,
see
you're not
this
going to have
fucking
any
car.
problems. Just get forced off of
gotta
Mavis,
see
take
this.
Rathburn to the south,
That is so
and take
classic.
that eastbound over to Huron, Ontario. Join the Huron, Ontario ramp back onto the eastbound 403. There you go. We have construction in other areas across the highways that shut down the Highway 7 ramps to the southbound 427. We have the Browns Line, Evans Avenue ramps to the northbound 427 closed for maintenance. Set 404 ramp onto the westbound 401 Collectors is also closed. Eastbound Steeles ramp to the north 404 shut down for some maintenance. A lot of lane restrictions here and there, but nothing that's really going to jam up your drive.
Whatever it had was
Just keep
not
in
inside
mind
of
the
it.
westbound 401, the ramp to Leslie still shut down, and the west 401
Ridiculous big
ramps
fucking
from
V8
Peel
mounted
onto the
sideways.
highway are also still closed.
But the car is
Bathurst
supposed
and
to be smaller
Davenport, some
than
lanes are
these
still
here.
blocked for a crash cleanup. Doesn't look too bad in this area though.
Show me the
Till
car,
winter to
motherfucker.
take a hike. You're going to Scottsdale. Sunny skies, 22-degree days, and Sonora and Desert Adventures are an easy non-stop flight away. Visit absolutely Scottsdale.com. Your next report is at 10:51, and with the forecast, here's Natasha Ramsey.
Temperatures falling to -3 degrees by the morning. Got a little bit of wet snow this evening, and then lake effect snow off to the north. Traditional snow belts. You know who you are. Watch for that reduced visibility in the morning. It'll be on and off, and then tapering off through the afternoon with these gusty, cold northwest winds. Temps falling from -3 to -7. Thursday, partly cloudy, and temperature -3 in the afternoon, but that's going to continue to rise through Thursday night. Overnight tonight, we're down to a low -3 degrees.
They're naming
Right
the
now
suitcase
in
dog
downtown
Casey. The
Toronto,
suitcase
overcast,
dog is named
+2,
Casey.
feeling like -3.
Damn it.
At
And
Pearson
they didn't even
Airport,
spell it
it's
KC.
+1,
It's
feeling like
CASEY.
-3 and overcast. 680 News Time, 10:43. Earlier today, the Canadian military shifted some of its soldiers from Iraq to Kuwait, calling the move a temporary measure. Chief of the Defense Staff, General Jonathan Vance, announced the move in a letter to the families of Canadian soldiers in Iraq and the surrounding region. Vance says the decision was made in coordination with NATO to ensure the troops' safety and security. And as we heard earlier, all the CAF personnel in the region where this missile strike happened in Iraq, they're safe and accounted for following those attacks. 680 News Time, 10:44.
3, 4.
Jenny Cooper.
5.
He's dead.
Death
is her living.
I'm just trying to put a picture together and we died.
And she won't rest until she uncovers the truth.
You know, it is my mission as coroner
Take your minute.
to speak for the dead so that I can protect the living.
Don't miss the
Forest Hill
drama series.
carjackings. It's not just because it interests me the most, it's at the bottom of the screen and it's the next one to get bumped off the front of the fucking page. Just
The holidays are
open the
over. It's
fucking...
time to take care of all those bills.
I don't see a picture of this fucking
Go
Cadillac.
to borrowwithyourcar.com. If you have equity in your car or home, go to the front of the line for fast approval on a loan up to $35,000. Car and homeowners, remember,
Just one click. Borrowwithyourcar.com.
you get great rates on a loan that actually works towards improving your credit score. Remember Prudent Financial, your trusted equity lender since 1984.
Borrowwithyourcar.com.
This is All News Radio, 680 News.
It is overcast and +2, feeling like -3. Good evening from the 680 News Broadcast Center in downtown Toronto. I'm Caitlin Lee.
And I'm Asher Roth. Here are the top stories this hour.
Iran is calling it hard revenge for the killing of its top general by American airstrikes. Iranian ballistic missiles have been fired at at least 2 air bases in Iraq housing U.S. forces. And we're hearing from Canadian General Jonathan Vance that all Canadian Armed Forces personnel in the region are safe and accounted for. We have breaking news from Mississauga, where a pedestrian was killed in the eastbound lanes of the 403. The eastbound 403 close from Mavis to Huron, Ontario, still for that investigation. And a messy winter storm bringing rain, freezing rain and snow could hit us by the weekend. Your extended forecast coming up at 10:51 with Natasha Ramsahide.
I'm going to pay very close attention.
Now time for
Maybe we'll call that phone
reports at 590 The Fan. Here is
I
Joe
can't skip back and watch this
Thanks,
myself.
Caitlin. Well, the Raptors fell 101-99 to the visiting Portland Trailblazers, and afterwards, Coach Nick Nurse gave Carmelo Anthony some kudos.
Where does this -18 come in? I need to know.
He played on the catch and he got by OG right away on that. So he was trailing from behind on that. But yeah, they made some good ones. Our guys played a good one. Really played well.
Anthony scored 28 points in the win for Portland, including the game winner. On the Raptors side of things, Kyle Lowry had 24 points and 10 assists in the loss, while Ibaka had 17 points and 11 rebounds. Toronto will now hop on a plane to Charlotte while they take on the 15-24 Hornets tomorrow night. The Carolina Hurricanes have brought back Justin Williams, a.k.a. Mr. Game 7, on a one-year deal worth $700,000. A quick update from around the NHL. Flames lead the Blackhawks 2-1 in the third, while the Penguins are up on the Golden Knights 2-0, and the Leafs, meanwhile, were off. They take on the Jets tomorrow evening at Scotiabank Arena. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime on the home of Tim and Sid, now on TV and radio, Sportsnet 590 The Fan.
680 News Time, 10:47. This just into 680 News. Iranian state media reports a Boeing 737 jet has crashed in the capital of Tehran. The plane was carrying 180 passengers and crew and was bound for Ukraine. Iranian media reports indicate the jet suffered technical issues minutes after takeoff. Stay with 680 News for more on this developing story.
That's too much coincidental, isn't
your
it?
long-term disability claim, and then your employer threatens to fire
When
you if you don't
Ukraine
return
did
to
it
work.
with Russia
Sound
and
familiar?
Syria.
My name is Aaron Waxman,
fuck,
and if your
people are
disability insurer
complicated
denies your
things.
disability claim for any reason, or if your employer threatens to
Let's
fire
not
you
forget
because you're too
Lebanon.
sick to work, call me at 416-661-4878.
So
And don't worry about upfront legal fees, because there are none. At my law firm, we only get paid when you get paid. And before you call, you should always remember that there are no bad questions. 416-661-4878 or on your cell phone at pound LTD.
Does your credit card debt
Don't
keep you
die
up
in
at
this
night?
province,
I know
apparently.
mine did. Hi, I'm Adam, and 6 years ago, I was no different, so I started New Borrow. Our proven step-by-step system helps homeowners eliminate debt and save thousands.
I think all I'm going to miss is the gas price, huh? Don't die in this province. You'll be hanging out for a while. Bodies placed in odd spots in Ottawa Hospital as morgues overflow. Lou Burry says a body stored in a hospital conference room first set an alarm bell ringing in his head last October. The hospital denies that happened, but the union leader at the Ottawa Hospital says his members have kept encountering cadavers in unexpected parts of its buildings because there are more bodies than the hospital can contain in its morgues. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of missing apostrophes in this article. Burry said the issue is growing as the hospital's infrastructure is stretched further beyond capacity with no evident way to clear the overflow. Quote, I've been talking to senior management at the Ottawa hospital and they're not happy that this is going on. They don't have the money to do anything. It's all funding. Everything's funding, Burry said. That one's there, actually. IT apostrophe. Yes, that was correct. Because you copied and pasted the quote from somewhere, didn't you? Quote, it is a black eye for the Ottawa hospital for sure. They strive on being healthcare leaders, and it's unfortunate this is happening, but maybe this will light a fire on trying to get some stuff resolved for them. The hospital has 2 major campuses and is the largest health institution in the capital. In a statement, the hospital said bodies had to be placed outside morgues during, quote, an extraordinary period in December, end quote. Space once used for autopsies has been converted to manage the, quote, unexpected surges in demand, end quote, the statement said, adding that conference rooms aren't used to house bodies. Like the fucking Simpsons or some shit, eh? Like, this is real Canada. This isn't just Canada. This is the fucking capital of the country. And they can't manage. How many fucking people are dying, eh? The Ottawa hospital suggested its experience was not unique. Quote, because of the growing aging population, the shortage of morgue spaces is a challenge for many hospitals across the province. To me, that doesn't make sense because these people are living longer, so I don't understand their reasoning. In Vancouver, the opioid epidemic has put a strain on resources. In Alberta, the province's chief medical examiner had to rent a refrigerated trailer last year after an Edmonton morgue reached capacity, which you can do. You don't have to leave them laying around the hospital. You can get like a trailer or whatever the fuck. I don't know if the trailer ever gets used for food again. I have no fucking idea. In Ontario, the Provincial Auditor General flagged the issue in her most recent report in early December. Bonnie Lissick noted that one hospital in the province kept bodies in hallways or in body bags, quote, sometimes stored side by side or on top of each other in storage spaces, end quote, because it had nowhere else to put them. Quote, it's not going to get better. In fact, it's going to get worse with an aging population. I think you mean a growing, I think the population in general is getting bigger. The aging population is getting older. They're not, if all those people were dying, you would have had this problem years ago, wouldn't you? Am I the only one that thinks that way? Said Alan Cole, Vice President of the Funeral Services Association of Canada. Well, you're just upset we're all dying intestate and broke and fucking you're not getting paid for services. Ottawa's hospitals conduct autopsies on many people who die in and around the region, and bodies can sit for weeks or longer before they are claimed, if they are claimed at all. And Ontario's chief coroner reported in June that there were 473 unclaimed bodies in 2018, an increase from the 401 in 2017. The office attributed that rise to better figures from a centralized tracking system. Figures for 2019 are not yet available. Oh, hold on. So you're saying there were 72 bodies the year previous that you just don't have? What? You don't? The claiming, so you could have just took that body and they don't know. There's 73 bodies that could have just, yeah, we don't know if they were claimed or not. So you don't know where it is at all. Then. Somebody has to sign for that, no? You know, Bob was here driving a hearse or something. The claiming process can be relatively fast for someone who dies in hospital. A funeral home often takes charge of a body almost right away, but can take longer if an autopsy is required or a body is brought in from the surrounding community. Quote, usually people claim, the families and others claim the body soon after the autopsy is completed, said Dr. Louise McNaughton-Filion, the regional supervising coroner in Ottawa. You must be busy. And there is the other group where somebody passes away in the community and the body has to be stored until family is found or next of kin is found. Good luck with that. A difficult search for a next of kin involves police and checks of financial records required under provincial law. When that fails, municipalities become responsible for burials. In the meantime, the unclaimed bodies take up space in hospitals. McNaughton-Filion said each hospital usually has its own morgue, but the type and size can vary. Down the highway from Ottawa is another regional center in Kingston, Ontario. Kingston Health Science Center's Chief Operating Officer Troy Jones said the hospital faces, quote, challenges accommodating a high number of deceased persons in its morgue from time to time, usually from delays in release. Those challenges, he said, should ease when a planned redevelopment of Kingston General Hospital enhances the morgue space. That's just where there's no solution there. So there's a crazy number of unclaimed bodies in Canada. And my understanding was they get fucking cremated and put into bags and boxes, and the boxes get stacked up, and they go in a vault with like 100 other people. Carjackings. We did not forget. Police seek suspects in Forest Hill area carjackings. This isn't about the carjacking. This is about the neighborhood for me. Toronto police are investigating after a series of carjackings in the Forest Hill area. All three incidents took place in the Bathurst Street and Eglinton Avenue West area over a span of 8 days. The first incident took place on Sunday, December 29th. He says, why are you telling us now, man? At around 5:55 p.m., when police say two suspects armed with a handgun and knife stole a victim's vehicle. Well, that would be a carjacking. That's all you got. The suspects are described as white males between the ages of 15 and 20. They were wearing dark clothing, hats, gloves, and scarves covering their faces. Well, how do you know they're white? Weren't they wearing sunglasses too? You didn't get the ski masks? Police have since recovered the vehicle. Well, that's strange. On Friday, January 3rd, 2020, at around 6:16 p.m., two armed suspects tried to steal a person's car but were unsuccessful. Police say a struggle ensued and the suspects fled. The suspects are described as around 15 years old. I'm only reading these because it don't matter. This is a million kids. As around 15 years old, white with thin builds and short brown hair. They were wearing black jackets with hoodies and had their faces covered. A replica firearm and a knife with a 4-inch blade were recovered. Oh, so they got into a fight and lost their shit, eh? On Sunday, January 5th, and they didn't stop though. Sunday, January 5th, 2020, at around 8 p.m., a man armed with a large kitchen knife walked up to a woman who was clearing snow off her car and tried to steal her vehicle. The robbery attempt was unsuccessful. These aren't carjackings, these are attempted robberies. Police say the suspect in that instance is 18 to 20 years old and white. He was wearing a black jacket with fur on the hood. My jacket is supposed to have fur on the hood, but I unclipped it and threw it somewhere because it's stupid. If you know anything, contact Toronto Police. If you know anything, not just about this, just anything, contact Toronto Police. I know the Toronto Police email address. Does that count? I'm going to contact them.
First off, in oil, Texas tea spiking well more than 4%, above $65 per barrel. The immediate concern is certainly the potential disruption of oil supplies out of that critical Mideast region. Investors as well piling more into gold. We've seen a major rally as of late for the yellow metal amid the uncertainty regarding this conflict. And now with these missile strikes, the price for gold topping $1,600 per ounce for the first time in some 7 years. So investors looking not only to gold as a safe place to hide, but looking to Bitcoin as well. Major rally on the go for Bitcoin, jumping some $300 above $8,300 per coin. So that's your safe haven place right now, Bitcoin and gold.
I'd sooner buy 12 of those Cadillac DeVilles.
It certainly looks like we're going to see a bit of a sell-off for Wall Street at the
half of them branded salvage before I fucking buy a
just yet.
Bitcoin.
Early days on that one. The returns on the Asia Pacific markets have been negative as well. We've seen
still get money for the parts out of the engines.
2% this evening. As far as the Tuesday trade on the main Wall Street stock markets was concerned, the TSX
was either an iron block with aluminum heads or fucking aluminum block or some shit. I gotta look that up. Was it all iron? It wasn't all iron. It was 1992. They were trying to fucking be like
cannabis concerns. The Dow closed down 119 points at 28,583. S&P fell 9 points. The NASDAQ fell 2. Loblaws cutting jobs, 545 of them, as the company closes a distribution center in Laval, Quebec. Canadian dollar, 76.93 cents U.S. Big breaking news just 60 seconds from now on 680 News.
Hi, I'm Brian Scudamore from 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Is it too early to do spring cleaning?
Springtime is here, ma'am.
But the calendar says...
Springtime came to your house the moment we arrived.
We bring the springtime with us, ma'am.
But I haven't really prepared for spring cleaning.
You don't need to prepare, ma'am.
Just walk around and point at junk you wish would disappear.
And then what happens?
It disappears.
Really?
All you have to do is point.
All I have to do is point? Wow.
No, that's the civil.
You really do bring the springtime.
We leave behind happy places
and happy faces.
We work until midnight, 7 days a week.
And we can be there in 90 minutes. When you're ready for a fresh start
and you want junk to disappear.
You can make it springtime anytime.
All you have to do is point. We'll be there before you hang up the phone. Your home will sparkle and sing a happy song. Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
In downtown Toronto, +2 and overcast. 680 news time, 11 o'clock.
Number 1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is 680 News, Toronto.
Here are Asher Ross and Caitlin Lee.
Good evening. This is Tuesday, the 7th of January.
Here's what's making news this hour.
This is the beginning of hard revenge. That's the statement from Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard after taking credit for a missile attack on 2 Iraqi bases housing U.S. troops.
We're following breaking news from Iran where a Ukraine-bound plane carrying 180 passengers and crew members has crashed not long after takeoff. No word on whether anyone is hurt.
A person has been killed, struck by a vehicle while walking on the 403 near Huron, Ontario. All eastbound lanes in the area are blocked. A full traffic report just seconds away.
An attempted arrest leads to a police-involved shooting west of the city. A man in his 20s has life-threatening injuries, and the SIU has taken over.
The Raptors drop a close one to the Blazers at Scotiabank Arena, and the Atlantic Division gets a little tighter. Sports at 15.
Swift market reaction to the attacks. U.S. futures sell off. Oil, gold, and Bitcoin surge. Business at 26.
680 news time, 11:01.
Time for traffic and weather together on the lines with Toronto's most frequent traffic reports. Here's Craig Gear. This report is brought to you by Monte Carlo Inn. So the eastbound 403 is still closed from Mavis to Huron, Ontario for a crash investigation. The Mavis ramps onto the highway are also still blocked off. So once you do approach the Mavis ramp off of the eastbound 403, that's where everyone's getting forced to. This ramp is handling the volume, no problem whatsoever. So the best detour that we're seeing a lot of people take is exit at Mavis, head south to Rathburn, and hang a left there at Rathburn, travel eastbound, join the Huron, Ontario ramp onto Huron, Ontario from Rathburn, and then get back onto the eastbound 403. No problems whatsoever. Everything is moving up to speed. However, the stretch of the highway is still closed. We'll let you know when it reopens. We have a bunch of construction in other places. Highway 7 ramps to the 427 closed for maintenance. If you're trying to get onto the northbound 427, you won't be able to from Browns Line, Evans Avenue. These ramps are closed. Eastbound Steeles ramp to the south 404 shut down, and the ramp to the westbound 401 Collectors is also closed from the south 404. Express ramp onto the westbound 401 is open though. Eastbound Steeles ramp to the northbound 404, that's been shut down for some maintenance. No maintenance at all on the eastbound 401 right now. We do have a bit on the westbound 401, some lane restrictions here and there, but the ramp to Leslie has been blocked, and the Keel ramps onto the westbound 401 are shut down as well. Looking for a wonderful winter escape right now at Monte Carlo Inns? You could save 20% on a luxury suite. Go to MonteCarloInns.com and enter the promo code WINTER. Your next report is at 11:11, and with the forecast, here's Natasha Ramza. Hi.
A little bit of wet snow this evening, melting on impact here across the GTA. Could see a centimeter or two across higher elevations to the north, but that's going to taper off as we drop to -3 degrees by the morning, continuing to fall to -7, wind chill -15 by the afternoon. Watch for lake effect snow, which could impact visibility if you're driving in from the north tomorrow morning. Overnight tonight, we're down to -3 degrees by morning.
Right now in downtown Toronto, +2 and overcast at Pearson Airport. It's +1 with some clouds. 680 news time, 11:03.
Breaking news from the Middle East, where Iran's revolutionary force has exacted revenge for an American airstrike that killed the country's top general last week, firing more than a dozen ballistic missiles at a pair of Iraqi military bases
which house U.S. troops.
U.S. President Donald Trump taking to Twitter earlier this evening, appearing to downplay the severity of the situation. 680's Michelle Mackey joins us live with the latest developments. Michelle.
Caitlin, less than 24 hours after the funeral of Iran's top general Qasem Soleimani, at least 2 bases hosting U.S. military in Iraq have been targeted. CNN's Barbara Starr says the Pentagon has released a statement on the attacks.
At 5:30 Eastern Time today, Iran, and I'm quoting from this statement, Iran launched more than a dozen ballistic missiles against U.S. military and coalition forces in Iraq.
The statement goes on to say it is clear that these missiles were launched from Iran, and Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard is taking credit for the rocket attacks. CNN's Fred Pleitgen, who is in Tehran, says the group has released a statement entitled, "This is the beginning of hard revenge."
And that was something that the Iranians were saying that they wanted after the killing of Qasem Soleimani, a hard revenge.
In a statement to families of Canadian armed forces in the Middle East, Canada's Chief of Defence General Jonathan Vance says, "I can assure you that all deployed CAF personnel are safe and accounted for following missile attacks in Iraq. We remain vigilant." Reporting live, I'm Michelle Mackey.
Now, the looming conflict has caused some major movement on the markets. 680's Richard Southern has more from the Business Center.
Yeah, traders wasting
What
no
time
time
did this
reacting
shit
to
actually
this.
happen?
Dow futures fell more than 400 points immediately after the attack, setting the stage for a potential sell-off for Wall Street come the 9:30 market open. We've also seen a big flight to safety. Traders buying gold as they look for a safe place to park their cash. Gold above $1,600 for the first time in 7 years. Bitcoin surges $400.
How many Iranians are selling gold right now?
As for oil, it's been moving higher. We've seen it above $65 per barrel. The big concern among traders is the potential disruption of oil supplies from the critical Mideast region. Richard Southern, 680 News.
680 News Time, 11:06. Breaking news from Iran, where a passenger jet has crashed in the capital of Tehran. The plane was carrying 180 passengers and crew and was bound for Ukraine. Iranian state media reports the Boeing 737 jet suffered technical issues minutes after takeoff. There's no immediate word on injuries. Stay with 680 News for more on this developing story.
And happening now in Mississauga, a portion of the eastbound 403 remains closed this hour after a pedestrian was struck and killed. 680's Karen Seolan joins us live with more on this developing story.
I've known that almost 2 hours. Maybe it's good
Trying to figure out why there was a person walking on the busy highway. Police Constable Taylor Conkle tells us what happened.
Happening now, live update.
7:19 p.m. We had reports of a pedestrian that was struck by a motor vehicle. We're looking for any witnesses at the time that have stopped. We are going to be interviewing anybody that did observe the collision.
The pedestrian was hit near Huron, Ontario and died on scene. Now, the 403 remains closed from Mavis to Huron, Ontario for the investigation. The driver is said to be cooperating with police, who are now looking for dash cam footage of the incident and any witnesses to speak to. No word yet if the victim was in live lanes of traffic or on the shoulder. I'm Karen Seolan.
680 News Time, 11:07. Peel police say one man has been taken to hospital after a shooting involving police officers in Mississauga. It happened in the Eglinton and Winston Churchill area. Constable Sarah Patton tells 680 News officers were investigating a vehicle for drug activity before the shooting happened.
The drug activity
When
first.
officers went to approach the vehicle drove at the officers, at which time one officer fired several shots into the vehicle, striking a driver.
Police say the victim is in life-threatening condition. The province's Special Investigations Unit has been called in.
680 News Time, 11:08. Plan your travel accordingly. Special weather statements are in place for an impactful and significant weekend system that could affect all of southern Ontario. Our meteorologist Natasha Ramsahai says while it's still too far out to determine the exact forecast, models are agreeing this is a moisture-laden storm.
And it will likely start as rainfall for Friday and Saturday, and then switch over to some sort of frozen precipitation Saturday night into Sunday morning. That switch over,
snow
though,
shower
that's
or
going
one
to
of
be
these
the
new
key
fucking
as
things
to
you're
how
throwing
high
at me.
impact this storm is going to be.
And our weather center will be closely monitoring the situation and will
I think she
provide
made that
any
one up too,
updates
right?
or warnings as necessary.
For freezing rain.
11:08. Tomorrow will mark the fourth one-day walkout by some high school teachers and support staff in the province. This after the union says the Ford government rejected its latest offer. OSSTF President Harvey Bischoff says his union offered to delay tomorrow's strike if the province agreed to return to last year's staffing levels for teachers and education workers. Education Minister Stephen Lecce has repeatedly said the key sticking point in negotiations is compensation, with the union demanding a 2% wage increase. This will affect high schools in the GTA, including the Peel District School Board.
Coming up in 30 seconds, a check on the prices at the pump.
680 News Time, 11:09. This is 680 News.
Catch all the excitement of your favorite slots and table games at Casino Woodbine. Sign up for a free One Rewards membership today, and you could be eligible to get your first $250 on us. Need a lift? We've added new Toronto shuttle bus routes that will take you right to our front doors. Must be 19 plus. Rewards membership required. If you gamble, play smart. Casino Woodbine, Toronto's home for gaming and entertainment.
Now the 680 News gas price update, and for predicting the price of gas will stay the same at midnight, holding at just under $1.20 a liter at most GTA stations.
680 News Time, 11:10.
Hi, I'm Cherry Tab, co-founder of the Herzig Eye Institute, and we do vision correction on chickens. It's true. Afterwards, when they're not feeling chicken anymore, they always say, I don't know why I was so nervous. That was so easy. Thank you. Thank you for holding my hand and answering my questions and taking such good care of me. So what are you waiting for? Google high definition vision. Learn about Herzig. Call us for a consultation. There's no charge. Look after yourself. Promise me.
Something's always coming up. Home improvements, kids' education, car repairs, credit card bills. Maybe you even saw a real deal on an investment property. Well, don't wait for the money to fall from the sky. Call Northwood Mortgage and start taking care of business. Use your home to save money. Pay off your mortgage faster. See why Canadians have turned to Northwood Mortgage for over a quarter of a century. Northwood Mortgage. Visit NorthwoodMortgage.com.
We're working harder for you.
License 10349.
680 News Time, 11:11.
Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Craig Gear.
This report is brought to you by the 407 ETR. Traveling on the eastbound 403, you're going to have to get forced off at Mavis. It's closed. East 403 Mavis to Huron, Ontario. This is for a police investigation. So a bit of extra volume here on the ramp off of the eastbound 403 to Mavis, but it's handling it not terribly. But you could experience some delays every once in a while if you're getting forced off at this ramp. So a good alternate people are taking is head south to Rathburn, cut across eastbound and get on the Huron, Ontario ramp off of Rathburn. And then you can rejoin the eastbound 403 at Huron, Ontario, and be on your way. The Mavis ramps to the eastbound 403 are obviously closed off. We have some construction that's blocking the westbound 403 access from Huron, Ontario. These ramps are now closed for construction. The ramp to Mavis from the westbound 403 is closed, and the southbound Mavis ramp onto the westbound 403 shut down for construction. Highway 7 ramps to the south 427 closed. Browns Line, Evans Avenue ramps to the northbound 427 shut down for maintenance. Eastbound Steeles ramp to the south 404, that is closed. No access to the westbound 401 from the southbound 404 in the collectors. You'll be dumped out into the express, but that's not a big deal. Eastbound Steeles ramp to the northbound 404 shut down for maintenance here. We have both ramps to the southbound 400 from the eastbound and westbound 407 closed, as well as the ramp to Leslie from the west 401, and both the Keel ramps to the westbound 401 are shut down for construction. 407 ETR drivers say they save 20 to 60 minutes per trip. 407 ETR manages traffic for an excellent driving experience. Visit 407etr.com. Your next report is at 11:21, and with the forecast, here's Natasha Ramsahai.
Some light wet snow this evening, and then lake effect snow is going to take over tomorrow with gusty west-northwest winds up to 50 to 60 kilometers per hour. We are waking up to -3. That's going to be cold enough to give us that lake effect snow in the morning. Watch for some reduced visibility at times and some slick conditions to start. It'll get drier through the afternoon with temperatures falling to -7, wind chill -15. By Thursday morning, we're waking up to wind chills of -18. We'll see some sun to start, increasing cloud, and an afternoon temperature of -3. Tonight, we're down to a low of -3 degrees by morning.
Right now in downtown Toronto, it is overcast +2, feeling like -3. +1 at Pearson with some clouds, feeling like -3. 680 news time, 11:13.
Another diversity controversy in the entertainment world.
New day, new award season nominations, this time for the BAFTAs, the British equivalent of the Oscars. Joker leads the nominations with 11, including Best Film, Director, and Actor for Joaquin Phoenix, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and The Irishman. Both have 11 nods.
Infuriated. I am infuriated.
Go. I have class tomorrow. I know I've been drinking, but my place. Drunk driving is a woman's issue too. Learn how to reduce the risk at changeconversation.com.
Oh, what the fuck is happening?